Hey, it's Sammy and Natalie here, and welcome to the Anxiety Compass, where anxiety isn't the enemy, it's our tour guide. We'll swap stories, share tools, and have a laugh while we find our way back to true north. Come along. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode. I am very excited, Nat. Today, I'm actually sitting outside and I'm looking at the sunshine and I'm thinking, wow, I'd like to, after this podcast, go and sit in the sun. And I'm
I
excited
was
about the
sitting in the
thought of that.
sun. I was sitting in the sun before we recorded, having my cup of tea.
It's
Ah,
beautiful outside. So
it is.
if you're listening to this, well, it's probably June or July in Australia, and we are now in winter. If you're at the other
Yay.
side of the world, up the top, you're probably in summer. But
Yes.
we're doing an episode on winter blues, anxiety, and missing sunshine because a lot of people get winter blues, Nat. That's an actual
Yep.
thing.
Yep. Sad. Seasonal
Sad.
affective disorder. It's
Exactly.
a thing.
I know. And I feel like I've had it in the past. I try and get as much sunshine as I can now, but in the past, when I used to work in a law office in the city, I wasn't getting much sunshine at all. I was literally getting up before I lived in the city. I was getting up, catching the bus in, going straight into work. I'd be in the office all day, eat at my desk because that's what you used to do. And then by the time I got home, like the sun was sort of, I'd be leaving my home when it was still dark, and I'd be
Yeah.
getting home when it was
But
dark.
it's
So I was
dark. Yeah.
literally not getting any sunshine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to get sad as well, because I lived in southern states. I was in Canberra. So
Yep.
in winter, there's not as much sun, but also because it is so bitterly cold, even when it's sunny, you
Yeah.
don't necessarily want to go out there.
Yeah. Yep. It's too cold. See, I've
Yeah,
grown up mainly in Queensland. We don't really get much of a winter here.
we
Um,
really don't.
but still, like yeah, you're not getting as much vitamin D, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So, referring to the anxiety compass, this episode's primarily looking at the physical, getting your body out there, getting some sunshine on, moving your body around in the sun, as well as the chemical, because there's a chemical reaction happening in your body with vitamin
Hmm.
D, one of a very important vitamin that I'm going to say when my clinic was open, Nat, most people were vitamin D deficient. Even though they were
100%.
in the range, some
The
of them,
range,
they
the
didn't have
reference range.
they did
No,
not have optimal levels.
I've never seen anyone come into my clinic with optimal vitamin D levels,
Yeah, unless
ever.
they're taking like a supplement or something, and you're like, oh, okay.
But even
Um,
still, they're usually not taking the right sort of supplement and the cofactors that go with it. And we'll
yeah.
go into the sciencey bit later.
Yes.
But
So
yeah, even when they were supplementing, they're not.
doing the right thing, but you're going to share all that with us today, aren't you,
I
Nat?
am. I'm going to do
Very
the sciencey bit.
Woohoo! Now,
Woohoo.
when people think of vitamin D, and it's one of the one of the supplements, one of the vitamins and the nutrients that I mention in my kids and adults workshops, the thing that jumps to most people's brains with vitamin D is bone health. They don't actually go too much further into it. And a lot of people don't realize that it actually influences those neurotransmitters in our body, which
Mhm.
impact on our mood. And so, if you're vitamin D deficient, it also works as, I'm going to say, like an antibiotic for the lungs. So, I find a lot of people
Mm.
who are vitamin D deficient, not only are they sad, they get sick a lot around this time of year as well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, even, I'm going to get controversial here and mention COVID. Um, even when, that pandemic was happening, we were all pushing to, educate people on vitamin D because of the connection. It
yeah,
boosts your immune system, but also has that connection to the lungs.
yeah, a very
Wow.
big connection to
Mm.
the lungs. Uh,
Yes.
yes. So, yeah, I'm going to say winter is full of reasons why we don't get vitamin D. So, I mean, I mentioned we're not outdoors as often, we're indoors more.
Oh,
The shorter days, I mean, middle of June, isn't it? Is that one of the shortest days of the year where it's less sunlight than ever? I'm pretty sure it's in the
actually,
middle of, is it June?
21st of June,
Something like that. The shortest day.
which is
So we're
the,
getting
yeah,
much less
winter
sunlight.
solstice. Yeah.
Less movement as well. I find a lot of people use the winter to sort of hibernate. They become less social because it's harder to dress up and go out. You got to wear so many layers. I mean, unless you're from like Melbourne and you're used to wearing layers, it's where we wear thongs up
Canberra.
here and we don't want to put boots on. Man, we just want to chuck
Oh,
our thongs.
some of us do. I'm from Canberra. I I'm running around at the moment with my big boots on, pretending
Oh,
that
my
it's cold.
kids.
And
Oh,
if you remember, we met up for breakfast a couple of weeks ago. We met at like 7:30 a.m. And I had my big, beautiful pea green wool coat on. I only
yes.
had it on for like 10 minutes because it was
Ooh.
too hot. But it
It's
was
too
like,
hot.
I
That's
want
the
to wear.
thing. It's annoying because you warm, it's cold in
I
the morning. You get rugged up and then you go out and then Queensland heats up
Yeah,
and then you're
by
like,
8 a.m. it's like,
the
oh,
layers
okay.
off. My boys refused to put socks and shoes on. They will wear thongs and board shorts. And I had to explain to them why they couldn't do that when we went to Japan for the winter because you just can't do that. You
No.
can kind of get away with it
Not if
here
you
in
want to keep your
Queensland.
toes.
Yeah, exactly. The more comfort food. So a lot of people are overindulging in the winter because, you want that warm comfort food when you're rugged up on the couch.
Yep.
And routines are disrupted. So I found for me personally, I'm not walking the dog when I get up at 4:30 in the morning because it's pitch black. And I
Mm,
used to meet girlfriends down by the lake after dropping my son off at Kung Fu. But now it's too dangerous to walk around the lake because it's not lit up properly and it's dark. So
yeah, so true.
less routines as well. And people assume, oh, I must be depressed. I must be lazy. That lazy word comes in. No
Mm,
motivation. I might as well just hibernate, eat what I want, and just rug up and stay inside. And I will come out of my shell when it gets warm again. Um,
yeah.
do you notice that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So what is this vitamin D? A lot of people know it comes from the sun, but it's actually not activated until something happens in the body, Nat. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yep. Let me do a quick deep dive into it. So, vitamin D is a fat soluble corticosteroid hormone that is synthesized in the skin following exposure to UVB radiation from the sunlight. We've got two primary forms of vitamin D. We've got D3, which is your cholecalciferol. I can never say that word, which is produced in the skin, and it's also found in animal foods. And then you've got vitamin D2, which is found in some fungi and fortified foods. Little tip while we're talking about fungi, mushrooms, a little tip if you want to increase your vitamin D levels, buy the the larger, flatter, like portobello mushrooms or something like that, put them outside in the sun, gill side up for 20 minutes. It will increase
Ooh,
your vitamin D levels intake while you're
wow.
eating it. And
Didn't
cooking
know
it
that.
won't destroy the vitamin D. Yeah, it's a little tip I give to my patients all the time.
Well, you've never told me this before.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so yes, Emmy. So with vitamin D, um, there are two steps to the vitamin D goes through. So step one, it passes through the liver, and vitamin D is converted from vitamin D into 25 OHD, which is the form measured in the blood tests.
Mm.
It then passes through the kidneys, where it's transformed from or converted from the 25 OHD, which is the levels in our blood, into the calcitriol, which is the active hormone that exerts the biological effects in our body.
Yeah,
So
because vitamin
that's
D is
another
a vitamin and a hormone. It's two
exactly.
things. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so that's another thing I see a lot of. If people have got liver issues or kidney issues, they also will have low vitamin D
Yes, that's
because
true.
of these
Got to supplement
conversions
them,
aren't
people.
working effectively.
Mm.
Absolutely. So vitamin D receptors or VDRs are found throughout the brain. So talking about mental health and anxiety. And it's particularly in areas that involve with our mood regulation, our emotional processing, our learning, our memory, and our stress response. Because these receptors are actually located within the hippocampus, the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, and the hypothalamus. So, the presence of vitamin D receptors suggests that vitamin D has a direct effect on our brain function. It's not simply an indirect effect through our physical health.
Mm.
Really interesting. So, it
Yeah,
goes
there's a
through a
lot.
number of mechanisms. There's a couple of mechanisms that vitamin D has. So, number one, because we're talking about anxiety, is serotonin production. Vitamin D regulates the expression of tryptophan, and this enzyme converts so it's tryptophan hydroxylase 2, which converts tryptophan into serotonin within the brain.
The
So yeah, I could.
serotonin.
It really
Good
is. So
thinking.
low vitamin D can contribute to reduced serotonin production and impaired neurotransmitter balance,
Yep.
which can. That's one of the reasons why vitamin D is associated with anxiety, depression, seasonal affective
100%.
disorder, everything we've been talking about. The
Yeah.
second mechanism is regulation of neuroinflammation, so that brain inflammation. So, chronic inflammation is increasingly recognized as a contributor to anxiety and depression. So, vitamin D helps regulate that immune function by reducing the pro inflammatory cytokines, so TNF, interleukin 6, and interleukin 1 beta. So, this helps shift the immune system away from that excessive inflammatory activity. And since inflammatory molecules can cross the blood brain barrier and affect our neurotransmitter function, reducing inflammation can also help to improve your mood and stress resilience.
Oh, there's so much. And if you're
I know.
listening, we've got probably got sciencey people listening who are going, "Oh, that's interesting." And some of you are probably like, "What?" Because there's a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
there's science
yeah.
words
So
there.
yeah, so
Yeah.
sometimes
So
yeah.
I love
The next,
hearing all this.
sorry.
I was just
Oh
gonna say
yeah,
I
it's
love listening
really
to the sciencey stuff. I find it
yeah.
fascinating. I was always told as well with vitamin D from the sun, as it hits your skin, it connects with the cholesterol in your skin, which helps to convert it
Yes.
into the active. And that if
Yeah.
you're lacking things like zinc, because zinc helps
I'm going to go into all of that.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was just
there's
going to
lots of
say.
stuff. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you simply just going outside and getting sunshine. I mean, lathering yourself in sunscreen and all that is often great to block maybe skin cancers if that's your issue, but you're actually blocking those rays, right? And
Absolutely.
oh
And
my
that's another
God.
thing, now that we're talking about cholesterol, is that if you're on a statin, you probably need to supplement with vitamin D. Definitely need to get out in the sun. But because those statin medications reduces cholesterol and cholesterol is needed
Mm,
for vitamin D production and conversion, you probably should go and get your vitamin D levels checked, especially
yeah.
if you're also experiencing anxiety and or depression. So
Yep.
just a little aside there. So another mechanism, this is our big one. We talk about this all the time, the modulation of the HPA axis,
Yes.
hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which controls our stress response. So vitamin D receptors are found within the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. So research and studies suggest that vitamin D can help the modulation of cortisol production, improve our stress adaptation, and prevent excessive activation of that stress response. So it's helping us to be able to cope with stress because we
Mm.
can't get rid of all of the stress in our life. So lack of vitamin D, means that our body isn't able to meet stresses as effectively as it can.
Low stress resilience. Yeah.
Exactly. Which
Yeah.
then
Oh
potentially
God.
can contribute to your anxiety symptoms.
Yeah. It's a
Another
cycle.
mechanism is neuroprotection. Really, really important, especially as we age. So, vitamin D appears to protect neurons through several mechanisms. It promotes the nerve growth factor, so NGF. It promotes the glial cell line derived neurotrophic factor. And it also helps support and the production of antioxidant activity. So this helps protect the brain tissue from oxidative stress, inflammation, and age-related cognitive decline.
Mm,
So it's neuroprotection is a really important
that is
factor
as you grow,
when it
as you
comes as
age.
you absolutely. And
Yeah.
we could go into another whole topic about that, about a podcast about that, about age-related cognitive decline and anxiety. There's a lot of
Mm.
anxiety around that when you realize that your brain's not working
Oh,
as
yeah.
effectively.
Mm.
The other one, the one that we love, GABA. GABA
GABA.
is the brain's primary calming neurotransmitter. And there
Mhm.
is emerging research showing that vitamin D may influence the genes involved in GABA synthesis and the GABA signaling.
Yeah.
So
So
this is an area
basically,
that's still developing. It's in the early stages of research, but it provides another plausible mechanism linking low vitamin D to that heightened anxiety.
yeah, well, that was what was wrong with me with the well, I shouldn't say wrong with me, but the panic attacks, they were constant. My body wasn't
Yeah.
producing GABA, and
GABA.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I was very deficient in vitamin D. I was at like, not, we're not talking about ranges just yet, but I think I was sitting at like 15 or something. I was quite
Yeah.
low. Yeah.
Very low.
Mm.
One of my favorite subjects, vitamin D and the gut brain axis. So, did you know that vitamin D receptors are found throughout our gastrointestinal tract?
Mm.
Vitamin D helps to maintain our gut barrier integrity, support microbial diversity, so our microbiome, and reduces intestinal inflammation. Low vitamin D, you may find that you've can be experiencing dysbiosis, so disrupted microbiome population,
Yep.
increased intestinal permeability, otherwise known as leaky gut, which then leads on to that chronic inflammation. So, given
Yeah.
that strong connection between gut health and mental health, vitamin D may exert mood effects through that gut brain axis as well.
Gosh,
So,
it
really, really
basically
interesting.
does everything. You don't want to be
It
deficient
no, it's
at any
such a
time of the year,
vital.
really.
No, you really don't.
Yeah.
The evidence for anxiety specifically is promising. A lot of the research out there has looked at vitamin D and depression. That's really what SAD is, that seasonal affective disorder. It's more about
Mm.
depression, but there is more and more evidence being collated
Yep.
on that connection with anxiety as well, which is really
Mm.
exciting, from a
Yeah.
science point of view. Now, talking about, let's go into ratios. Now, we've talked about this before on your standard blood test that you get from your GP. Um, you're going to see the reference ranges, which is not a great indicator of your actual health status. As natural medicine practitioners, we always go by optimal ranges, which is actually
Yep.
can be quite different. So, normal ranges under 25 nanomoles per liter, it's severe deficiency. Less than 50 is deficiency. 50 to 75 is insufficiency, and over 75 is generally adequate. As functional practitioners, we like to see the levels minimum of 75
Yep.
up to 125. I like to see it sitting at about 100.
Yeah.
If I see a lot of women in my clinic who have chronic, long-term, complex, illnesses, disease states, I like with a lot of information, with a lot of inflammation, I like to see it sitting up at around 150 for a little while we're reducing that inflammation in the
I was
body.
just going to say 150 was my target market for
Yeah.
some women.
Yes.
Yeah. And I also found like in clinic, a lot of women that were low in vitamin D, they were so stressed that their body was also chewing through, which I mentioned, magnesium and zinc.
I was literally
And
about to talk about that. Yeah. The
yeah, I was
vitamin
just,
D cofactors.
they're missing. You
Yes.
can't activate it in your body without them.
No, you can't. So magnesium um, is required for, so as you mentioned, vitamin D synthesizes in the skin. It's activated magnesium is needed for that activation in the liver that I was talking about before, and also then that activation in the kidneys.
Mm.
Magnesium is also used, it binds, it uses binding to that vitamin D receptors as well
Yeah.
to enhance that the utilization of the
Yep.
vitamin D once it's converted. So,
Use it in your
yeah,
body. Yeah.
absolutely. Another one, and of course, as we've mentioned numerous times throughout our podcast episodes, is that when you are in a high stress state, got anxiety, our body chews through magnesium and zinc like it's going out of fashion.
Yeah. Yep.
So if you've got anxiety and you're not um, eating a lot of magnesium and zinc rich foods and or supplementing, you may find that you've got low vitamin D. Also, you may find that your blood levels on your pathology report may show that your vitamin D is adequate. And like I mentioned before, that's only part of the conversion when it's floating around in our blood plasma.
Yeah. It might not be doing the job
So it might not be
there.
doing its job
It's just waiting
exactly.
to get the materials to get to work. It's like a cleaner walking around
100%.
without his cleaning products. I'm here.
Absolutely.
I just need the stuff to be able to start working.
Exactly.
Um,
So zinc,
yeah.
vitamin D, it's our receptor function. So on the cells, that keeps our cell function healthy, so that those receptors are optimized. Zinc is also used for that gene transcription of vitamin D and our immune regulation. So a zinc deficiency may reduce the effectiveness of the vitamin D signaling,
Yeah.
which is really
I've also
interesting.
found like I had a lot of clients who were zinc deficient. They also and the signs were they were craving some unusual things and because zinc's also a part of your taste bud receptors.
Yep.
But their cholesterol levels were quite high. And I think a lot of people don't realize that to break down cholesterol you need zinc and you're
Yes.
using cholesterol to make vitamin D. And quite often these people would have high levels of cholesterol because their body was making too much cholesterol, waiting for zinc to use it to turn it into all these hormones because it's part of the steroid pathway. But a lot of people think cholesterol and they freak out. You actually,
Yeah.
it's used for so many processes in the body, and
Mm.
the first thing I think of when I see really high cholesterol is not so much their diet, that does play a role to some degree, but
Yeah, but
80%
not a
is made
lot.
in the liver. And
Exactly.
if your body is making all this cholesterol, you're missing the little, parts that convert it into these wonderful things, all the different hormones and steroid pathway that including vitamin D. So that was a
Yeah.
big one that surprised people. I say that on stage as well. I say, if you're
Mm.
zinc deficient, you're not using cholesterol to make things in your body. And then I listed
Yeah.
all the things, and they're like, oh wow. Um,
Yeah.
and it just
So
like
interesting.
deficiency can be so many things. Like we were talking about getting sick more often, brain fog, fatigue, anxiety, and low mood. So they're sad, and just lack of motivation. And so I'm wondering if people
Oh, hang
go,
on. I haven't finished yet.
oh, you got more,
I've
continue
got
on.
more. So one of the really, really important vitamins that we need for together with vitamin D, and I never supplement without it, is
Mhm.
vitamin K2.
Yeah, I was just going to say
Really,
if they're
really
deficient,
important.
what supplements do they go for?
Absolutely. So
Mm.
if you get D3 plus K2, there's some really great um, products out there.
I think I've got that
Otherwise,
one in
just
my
having
cupboard.
K2. So vitamin D obviously increases our calcium absorption. They work synergistically, calcium and vitamin D. Basically, what vitamin, but without the K2. So vitamin D increases our calcium absorption, which is great. It's needed for our teeth and our bones. However, it has the risk of then just depositing into our tissues, including our arteries, which
Mm.
is atherosclerosis. What the vitamin K2 is, this is the way I describe it, it's like the little bus that drives around and picks up the calcium and drives it into the bones and the teeth where it is needed and where it is stored. So it takes it away from those tissues in the body and puts it into the bone, because calcium just on its own isn't very effective at going into the bones. So it's
Mm.
really, really essential, especially if you're supplementing with vitamin D, that you supplement with vitamin K2 as well to
Yep.
reduce the risk of heart disease, heart, coronary events, that sort of
Yeah.
thing, build up of atherosclerosis. And then another one, an emerging cofactor is boron. Boron has been shown to it helps with vitamin D metabolism, magnesium retention, as well as our bone health. So, um, you know, boron is not talked about a lot. Um, but food sources of boron, because people are like, what? Okay, we know, we can go through the food sources of vitamin D, which I will in a moment, but boron is not talked about a lot at all. But it's found in our fruits, especially our prunes, our raisins, and sultanas. Now, you think about those fruits where they've grown in the sun.
Mm.
Okay, so they're rich in boron. Avocados are rich in boron. Legumes, and organ meats, including liver. I often give my patients, because there's the iron, especially if they're low in iron, I'll give them like food as medicine. So I'll give them liver capsules. And it's got a
Mm.
little bit of the
I've
boron in
got
it as
those, the
well.
spleen and liver capsules that I've got in my cupboard.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah,
I think they're
beautiful.
called ancestral or something, something
Yes, the yeah,
primal, something. Um,
primal, yeah, those ones. I
yeah.
use the same ones. They're really, really great.
Mm. Yeah.
So what boron does is it increases the half-life of vitamin D in the body. Really, it influences the conversion of vitamin D into its active forms.
So it
It
stays in
in,
the body longer. Is that what you're saying?
yes, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
It improves the magnesium utilization, supports calcium metabolism, and
Hmm.
also helps to reduce inflammatory markers.
So you got to get,
So
I've seen supplements of actual just boron that you can buy, but you're saying better to get it in the format of like a liver capsule.
liver capsule and
Yeah.
foods. So
Yep.
eating, your nuts and your seeds, your avocados, those fruits like prunes,
I do
really,
like prunes. I got
yes,
into prunes when I went on the cruise ship. You know how they have the
yep,
buffets? And I
yes,
was watching everyone eating prunes. I'm like, is everyone backed up or something? And then I said to my hubby, "Oh, I actually really like prunes." So I started having prunes every day. So I've come home and I bought some prunes. So
yeah, I love
um,
prunes.
God, they're yum, aren't they? My kids were like, what are they? I'm like, they're prunes. If I never bought prunes, they've never seen them. Yeah, they're good. Like nice little sweet hit, instead of
Yes,
having
they
a.
are
Mm.
absolutely,
Yeah.
and they help our digestive health as well.
Yes.
Keep us regular.
So, for those that are listening and they thinking I'm deficient in vitamin D, they can just go to their GP and get a test. Is that correct? Or do they have
Yes,
to pay for it now? I'm not sure. Do they get the
I don't
active
think so.
vitamin D? Because there's a few different forms that they can test for. Which one would you recommend if they had to pick a test so they know which one they're going for? Because there's a
Yeah,
couple of tests.
active.
The
Yeah,
active one?
absolutely active.
Yep.
But
And
talking about those ratios, those ranges before, just getting doctors are hesitant to, and
yeah,
it's not necessarily their fault. It's because of Medicare. They are restricted in what they can test, and they
yeah.
often don't test vitamin D.
You can get a
Just
copy
go and
of your
ask for
blood.
D. Yeah, just
Yep.
go and ask for a vitamin D test, and then you can have a look at the reference ranges to
Cite them
see.
yourself because the doctor will
Yes.
say you're
Oh, you're
fine.
fine.
So say,
If
can I get
if
a
you're anything over
copy?
like 45 or 50, they go, oh yeah, you're fine.
Get a
You're not.
copy. They can email it to you if you
Yes,
request it. You are
absolutely.
entitled to a copy of your blood tests. So
Yes.
definitely get a copy. And then so what if they're deficient? So they go with the food sources, perhaps they go good I get a D3 and K. Is that the one you were saying? Definitely
Yeah.
working in
K2,
with
K2, not
yeah,
K1,
sorry,
which is
K2.
yeah,
And
which
they
is the
should
infectious.
really go and speak to, like, if you've got a health food store, you can go and chat with a nutritionist or naturopath in the store because they're going to have a look at any contraindications or anything like that before you just start
Absolutely.
taking one because
Yeah,
there's
don't,
so many different
yeah,
types.
absolutely. Or book in with someone like us, like
Yeah.
me. Go
Yes.
book in with a naturopath, clinical nutritionist, someone like
They'll look
that,
at
someone
all
who
things.
we will look at all the things. That's what I do
Yeah.
in my clinic all the time.
Yep.
But, food sources of vitamin D, we didn't get to that. So that, like I mentioned, mushrooms exposed to the sun, really good source. You find it in salmon, sardines, mackerel, and herring. Egg yolks. Eggs are just such
Mm.
a little powerhouse of
Oh, they
of
are. You were eating
of
one
nutrition.
before. I saw you
I
peeling one.
I was. Like we were talking about liver, um, and fortified dairy products. I'm not a
Yeah.
fan of fortified foods,
Yeah, I'm not either.
but of
I
course,
find
number one
synthetics.
source
Yeah.
is sunlight.
Yep.
That's the number one source. Like, get
Yeah,
out
and
in the sun.
I actually have a chart here which I'll read out. It talks about the specific because it depends on where you live around the world too. And specifically with Australia, I'm going to mention the recommended sun exposure for adequate vitamin D levels because some people go out and I'm not saying like going out, lathering yourself in sunscreen and a hat and sunglasses, like that's going to block the vitamin D. There needs to
Yeah.
be a little bit of time that you can get the sunlight to hit your actual skin that isn't blocking it. And if you're in Brisbane, which is where we are, for winter, the recommended duration you should be in the sun and letting your like the sun actually touch your skin outside the hours of 10 and 2 p.m. is 15 to 19 minutes. Are you outside for 15 to 19 minutes to get your vitamin D? And you don't have to get naked. You can just stick your legs in
Oh,
the sun, like as long as some form of your body is seeing the sunlight. Um,
exactly.
if you're in Sydney, further down, it's actually 26 to 28 minutes in the middle of winter that you need sun to touch your skin. And I wonder how many people are spending half an hour outside
Sun.
getting sun.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, they're probably sitting in their desks inside, like most people who are probably on their way to work listening. And then if you're all the way down in Hobart, like you're getting further down south here, 40 to 47 minutes of direct sunlight. Are you getting that? I
Mm,
wonder. Like this is a long time. I mean, as if you
absolutely.
compare it with the summertime, so in Brisbane we only need 6 to 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Any longer than that, you're probably going to fry yourself because the UVA rays that are quite intense, and we
Mm,
do have the highest levels of skin cancer in the world, so we want to be
yeah.
careful. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, like wintertime, you need to be in the sunshine more. And if you're listening,
Absolutely.
I'm wondering how long do you actually spend sitting in the sun and how are you going
Mm.
to make that happen for you? Maybe a walk. Like I know some people
Yes.
get like a 10-minute break to go and have a smoke. Like is smoking break still a thing?
Smoko. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Can you go out and
But
and
that's when I
get some
recommend,
sunshine?
especially in winter. I tell all of my clients, go
Mm,
for a walk at lunchtime because
yeah.
that's when this when's going to be the warmest part of the day in winter.
Yeah. Yep.
You're moving your body, so you're helping all the other things as well. Glucose, insulin spikes, all those sorts of things, as well as getting um, vitamin D, and also, of course, mindfulness,
Yes.
mental health, just getting outside, away from the desk, away from other people, or go for a walk with your coworkers. Make it a
Yeah,
fun
have a meeting.
social activity.
They do that
Yeah.
now. I've seen meetup groups where they actually
Yes.
go for a walk in the sun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
instead of like having an office meeting, you could go outside and walk and talk about
Yeah.
rather than just doing it over the phone. Say, hey, let's meet up downstairs and go for a walk around the river and back again.
Exactly.
That's
Especially it's like a brainstorming,
mm,
creative sort of meeting because going for a walk actually also stimulates that part of the brain. So you're going to
yes.
get more creative when you go for the walk.
And I was just going to say, like, if you've got an office with a window and perhaps you're getting sunlight from the window, that still blocks the vitamin D from coming
Those,
through, doesn't it? Like it
yeah.
doesn't block UVA. You can get burnt
No,
through
you can get
there.
sunburnt. Yeah.
And yeah, ugh. I find like a lot of Japanese women when they're driving, they wear the gloves and that because they don't want the skin damage from the sun, but it's
Yeah.
still blocking the vitamin D from getting through. Like even just driving around in your car. Like if you are driving in the morning and the sun is out, wind the window down. Oh my gosh. Let the
Stick your
sun
arm
hit your
out the
arm.
window.
Yeah, I know. There you go. You're getting it. 20-minute drive to work, whatever it might be. Stick your,
Yeah.
I was about to say, stick your head out the window. You might get fined by the police, but you're getting your, when they pull you over, say, I'm getting my vitamin D.
Or if you've got a sunroof, I've got a sunroof. Mine's open all the time in winter so that I'm getting lovely
Ah,
sunshine on
yes.
me. Mm.
That's true. I didn't think of that. It's like sometimes I find the body knows what it wants, and sometimes I'm craving for sunshine, like
Yeah.
craving it. And when I see the sun come out, it's like my whole body lights up and sometimes I get a bit depressed because I think I need to get outside and there's that anxiety knowing that I want to go out in the sun and I need to shift what I'm doing to make that happen because it's like
Mm.
my body, it's like when anxiety is trying to talk to you, it's trying to tell me I need sun and you need to restructure a couple of things so that you can go outside and get that 10, 20 minutes in the sun. Body's
Yeah,
always talking.
absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
body's always talking. I feel like
Always.
this episode's been very heavy in the science, Nat. It's
It
got very
has.
sciencey on this one, but I feel like people need to know what's going on under the hood.
Yeah.
And in simple terms, the vitamin D does a lot for the body, a lot.
Mm.
And if you're lacking it, this could be the reason why you're feeling really sad, brain foggy, and unmotivated during winter. So
And
definitely
getting lots of
getting there.
colds as well, like your
Yeah.
immune system is suppressed.
Exactly, exactly. It's all connected. So, before we wrap it up, I was going to see, do you want to throw out a reflective question for our audience, or do you want me to do one?
Um, you can do this one. I did the last one. You can do this
Oh, you just lovely. All right, let me throw one in.
one.
If anxiety got louder during winter, what has changed in your environment, in your habits, or your body that might be contributing? And what is one small thing you could do to bring back this week? Like what could you do that you normally do in the summer? Maybe not 4:30 a.m. walks, but maybe you could sit out by the pool just because you can't swim in it because it's cold. Well, you could. You could still lay out by the pool in the
Yeah,
sun. I find like I'm not
the
laying
book.
out by my pool because I'm not using the pool, but it still looks amazing, the
Yeah,
water.
it's still a beautiful environment. Grab your
Mm.
book, cup of tea.
I like going to the beach in winter.
Me too. When I lived
Mm.
on the beach down
I
on the
don't
Gold Coast.
necessarily swim, but I like to walk
No, I
along
would just
the
go
beach.
and I loved sitting on the sand, looking out at the ocean for an hour or so. I found it just so calming. It
Yeah.
was really funny. Like it was really obvious, who the I was still rugged up. It's really
Mm.
obvious who the tourists were because they would walk along the beach in shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm sitting there literally
All
in a
rugged
scarf and a
up.
jumper.
Oh, we
I
do
was like,
that.
oh
We
my God, tourists.
we go, it's become a tradition now. My sister's partners, well, anyway, it's a disjointed family member, and they own a beach house down south of Sydney, and no one really hires it out because it's like a family hire chart. No one really hires it at winter in the winter for the June, July holidays. So we've become a habit of booking it and having a family
Mhm.
holiday with my sister and her kids and my kids, and it's right on the beach. It's freaking freezing, but there's a fireplace, and we stay outside on the balcony and we play board games. And we don't really swim in the ocean because it's too cold. We might do a little bit of a cold dip, but it is so
Mm.
beautiful. And I'm really looking forward to sitting in the sun and playing Scrabble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best,
Ah,
best, best.
best, best.
I'm a Scrabble fan too. We have to get together one day and do Scrabble.
I love Scrabble. I'm a
Oh,
Scrabble person. All
yeah,
right.
me too.
On that note, I'm gonna love yous and leave yous. And is there anything else you want to say before I say goodbye?
Oh, I think we've covered everything very
Okay. Well,
briefly, but
probably not
yes,
everything, but as much
no,
as we can
as
in
much
the
as we
30
can.
minutes.
Yes.
All right. Have a great day, everyone, and go get some sunshine.
Yay, bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us on the Anxiety Compass. If you love this episode, share it with a friend who needs a little laugh and a lot of calm. We'll see you in the next one. Keep following your true north. disclaimer time. Sammy and Natalie may be clinical nutritionists, but we're not your personal doctors. What you hear is for learning and laughing, not diagnosing or prescribing. If things feel bigger than you, call your doctor or local support line or reach out to a qualified health professional. They've got your back too.